I'm Minette Satterfield. This is my studio. I'm really glad you're here with me this morning. I am here to just go through a quick warm-up. If you got the newsletter earlier today, you'll know that I've been out of the studio for a few days, and it's a little awkward sometimes to get back in and get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and do one of my warm-ups and let you see how I get started on that. Because honestly, you wouldn't go start running around the block or doing a workout without warming up, and sometimes art's the same way. So before I start, I just want to remind you, if you're catching this later, this is filmed live, and everything that you see is what happened. There's no editing. So let's get started. And I'm going to do something real simple this morning. I am going to just be working with this piece of mixed media paper here. And the reason I'm using this is because it was already pinned up here when I walked in here this morning. I'm going to use a handful of colors of some of my favorite tools, which are the big Woody Stabilo crayons. I am working on getting you a link for those so you can see what they are and to get them. These are the best. They're water soluble and they're very vibrant. So I'm just going to use these because they're easy, they're accessible. Like I said, I'm getting started. This is a warm up. Don't want to do anything too difficult, too taxing. As a matter of fact, it doesn't matter how it turns out. That's the best thing. I'm also going to use a spray bottle of water and maybe a brush. We'll see how that works. And lately I have been working on some pears. The pear form. I've always really loved the form of a pear, and this is actually a stencil that I've drawn and cut that I am going to just sort of use as inspiration. So what I'm going to do is get started on this piece of paper back here, and I'm just going to make some marks. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm not going to try and make it perfect. This is a warm-up. Again, a warm-up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work all over the paper and just get started by making, hold on, reference the shape of a pear. Now, I'm not too worried about whether it's perfect or not, and it's not. It's a little wonky, but that's okay. It's okay. It's a warm-up. And like I said earlier, if these warm-ups really do a lot towards getting you more comfortable in the studio and just more comfortable, especially if you've been out for a little while like I have and you're coming back and wanting to work on something you've been working on, and all of a sudden you're like, well, am I going to mess that up? Or have I forgotten everything I ever knew? This is a great place. Thank you. This is a great way to get started again. These are kind of staticky here. Let's see if it can be a lot more loose, right? There we go. That's a big fat pear. And some circles. Again, these are just to get my arm moving and just get some motion going. It's a good place to start. Let's add some color. Just any color, anyway. Thanks so much. And let's see what we can do with this. Pears, I like to make them shades of green and pink. And that's a lot of fun. So yeah, warm-ups you don't need to do this every time you come into the studio. It's not necessary maybe, but it certainly helps. And it sure does give you a lot of creative freedom when you're doing something. It doesn't matter how it looks. It just doesn't matter. I'm drawing pears right now because I happen to like them. I like the form. I showed earlier I've been doing some gel printing with pear form that I drew myself a while back, and I just like that shape. I also like the colors, the greens. I've got this really pretty acid green. And again, these are one of my favorite tools. And the reason I'm being so loose with the marks is I'm going to apply some water to this to help loosen things up even more. But first I have to get some marks on the page. Here's some of it. Now that's purple. Let's just see what we can do with that. And here's a little pink, a little bright pink. And let's see what happens. Now, it's feeling pretty loose, feeling better. And I'm going to spray this with a spray bottle of water because these crayons, like I said earlier, these are the Stabilo Woody crayons. It's the same core as the Stabilo All pencil, which is a water-soluble pencil. See what I mean? It's already starting to run. And they make an amazing, now, this is going to smear. It's also going to make a mess on my easel, which I didn't foresee. Like I said, this is live, so live things happen here. And I'm going to get enough water on that I can take this brush and start to move it around. And I'm glad I put these paper towels down here because I'm going to need them. It's getting wet. Oh, there we go. So you can see I can take this water and I can use it to start to make shading like this. And this is one of those things that it also helps teach you things about your materials. Warm-ups are excellent for that as well because, you know, it's a warm-up. And if you mess up, who cares? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just for fun and for, I'm doing this with my left hand. I'm actually not left-handed. I should probably switch these. Yeah, that's a little bit easier. I like the drips. I actually quite like the way the drips are looking down here. I'm going to try to make more of those. This is mixed media paper. I said, it's not mixed media paper. I'll tell you, to be honest, it's not my favorite paper because I don't feel like it has, I like watercolor paper better, especially for something like this, because you'll get these colors. Now, let's add a little more of a color, another color in here. Now, this paper's already wet, so these crayons are going to do something different because they are water soluble, so even the core will start to dissolve a little if you're coloring on wet paper, which is a nice touch if it's, and that way, like I said, you learn something about what your materials will do when you're working on a painting, and you might care a little more if you something happens. Although even then, honestly, you can always fix it. You can just paint over it. There. I want that to be a little bit more. Oops, I just smeared it. There. Okay, this is starting to make quite a wet mess here at the bottom. That is really wet down there. There we go. I keep extra paper towels around for things like this, but there. Now, you can use a brush to thin it out. And some places you might like to just leave the way the spray bottle works and makes a pattern. And I think, honestly, I think for a warm-up, this is feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like, wait, there's one more place. Hold on. Oops. And I ran the black right into it. Well, okay, there. Well, I'm feeling like I've gotten a lot more comfortable with putting things down and just moving stuff around. And we're going to call that a nice, splashy, and it's got a little bit of a face going on there now that I look closely. I might actually later develop this into something with this little face and a pear. So that's how I will sometimes come in and approach a warm-up. So I encourage you to try it. Something simple, something fast, something easy. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just a warm-up. It's just you expressing yourself. So thanks so much for being here with me today. I'm really pleased that you stopped by to say hi and join me in this. And remember, I'm not on any social medias. So the newsletter is the best place to catch up with what's going on in the studio. And if you subscribe here, you will get notices when I do these lives, which is occasionally. So thanks again. I'm so glad you're here. I'll see you soon.